Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Fringe Talkback. We are doing these after the majority of our Fringe lineup. You can find out all about the schedule on cincyfringe.com and in our Fringe guide. Right now, we are chatting with the team that brought us Quit While You're Ahead, including Alex of A to Z Productions. My name is Kate Coley, and I'm the Talkback producer, and I will be your guide through all the talkbacks during Fringe. So you can catch me anywhere you see there's a live stream talkback. I will be there. If you all want to go ahead and introduce yourselves, we'll get started with some questions.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alex Rouse, and I am the writer and producer of Quit While You're Ahead.
My name is Brandon Leatherland, and I was the director of Quit While You're Ahead.
My name is Mackenzie Boyd, and I'm stage manager and props for Quit While You're Ahead.
Hi, my name is Nicholas Riley, and I played the role of Chad in Quit While You're Ahead.
Hi, my name is Trevor Browning, and I played the role of Jason in Quit While You're Ahead.
And I'm Rachel Kazee, and I played the role of Janie.
Thank you, guys. So as you can see, we have a pretty full house in our talkback tonight. So I would really encourage you, if you have questions for any part of the creative team, to drop some questions in the Facebook comments on this live stream, and those will get sent to me and I can ask them for you. So I want to get started with a question for you, Alex, which is talking a little bit about how this particular play came about, especially the flowcharts, which are so central to the show.
Sure. Thanks for asking. So a lot of the show and the attitude that is dealt with in the show towards like what's typically a very heavy topic is actually inspired from just conversations that I had myself in high school, which sounds a little messed up and probably was because like, yay, millennial and Gen Z trying to make your way through the world. But the flowcharts just, it's funny because I don't even understand where the flowcharts came from. I just remember having a conversation with somebody about how they really wanted to write a show where somebody was just throwing out into a conversation like, oh no, I can't like do that next week because I'm gonna like kill myself, and the idea of like having an absurdist thing. And I thought that was a really cool idea to deal with that. And for some reason, like I knew it wouldn't have worked if we didn't make it double insane. And the idea of like the only time a cheerleader or a quarterback did their homework being suicide flowcharts, for some reason in my head just seemed like something that needed to be brought into the world. And maybe I'll talk to my therapist about that at a later date, but it just sort of happened.
Absolutely. We just got a question from Dana, and Dana wants to know if the charts are accurate and who made them.
Oh my God, please give Mackenzie Boyd all of the time on this because she's the chart MVP and God bless her.
Yeah, Mackenzie, do you want to talk a little bit about making those?
Yes. So I definitely sketched a lot of them when I was I sketched a lot of them when I was actually listening to everybody playing around together in rehearsal. But I did try to make them at least somewhat accurate, especially to how I was feeling about certain things. Like Dolphin seemed like it would be the most appropriate thing to blow all your money on.
Yes, absolutely. That is awesome. And then Brandon, do you want to talk a little bit about how you came onto the process?
So I've known Alex for just about 2 years, a little over 2 years now, and I've worked with her on some other projects. And then one day I think we were just hanging out and she just sort of pitched me this show, just basically saying, oh, it's about these teenagers who want to kill themselves. And I was like, oh, yeah. She's like, no, it's like a suicide comedy. And I think it's the line from Jerry Maguire that is, you had me at suicide comedy. And I've just known Alex long enough to know that her comedy is very deliberate and it's not going to be in bad taste. So I was like, let's absolutely figure out how we can make this work.
Great. Yeah. So as we know, Alex has worked on, and she was just interviewed, Alex has worked on a ton of stuff at the No, has done Fringe a million times, but obviously this year is really, really different because we are working remotely, we are using old footage. So I would love to know probably a little bit from all of you about what your process was like having to film your show instead of perform it live, any sort of adaptations you had to make, and just what that process was like for you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that I think that I really want to hear from the actors, especially because they were I felt like watching them, they gave unbelievably for the fact that there was nobody there to watch them. And I think so much of your performance is feeding off of different people. So that was something that I thought must have been really hard to deal with, but they handled it really beautifully. And Mackenzie and Brandon, I want them to talk specifically about like the two the one in-person rehearsal that we had and also like our virtual rehearsal because I was very, very proud of it. And yeah, so that is what I have to say.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about actors, maybe what that experience was like for you all, and then we can hit that second point. Thanks, Alex.
I'll go. Yeah, so it was definitely different than anything I've ever done, specifically because it was like a lot of prolonged table work at first, and it kind of gave me a chance to get more into the piece in front of me before I started memorizing and blocking. And then when we finally met to sort of rehearse the show and film it and get it out there, it was kind of just, it felt like second nature, even though we hadn't really met yet. And I just thought that was a really cool feeling that we could just kind of jump in and hit the ground running with it. And someone's got to talk about the Club Penguin rehearsal because I feel like whoever orchestrated that, Mackenzie, should talk about it.
We'll definitely have to get back to that, but I'd love to hear from Nick and Rachel first about what you thought about the rehearsal process.
I really actually liked the rehearsal process a lot. It allowed for this. It was very interesting to just see it based off of talking to each other over the camera.
Because there's so much that goes on when you're standing on a stage talking to somebody. And a lot of the whole having filmed in theater, I feel like we're filming
Sorry, Nick,
silence.
we're having some sound funkiness on our end. I think you're getting some feedback. That's better.
Is it better now?
No, I lied.
Then
Sorry about
fix
that.
Wow.
Okay, all right, Rachel, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I mean, like going into it, it felt very sort of like unknown because I don't think any of us really knew what exactly was going to happen throughout the rehearsal process. Like we knew, like, yes, a lot of it was going to have to be digital, but we didn't know, like, was there going to be a point when we could meet in person or anything like that? And I think like it ended up the digital rehearsals. When we were going in, I was like, I'm not really sure how these are gonna work, but they ended up being, I felt like, a lot more effective than I was originally anticipating. Of course, there was still that struggle of like, it's hard to play off other people when you're not there and you can't pick up on all of their nuances. And then of course, like with every Zoom meeting, like people freeze and you have to hold and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like because we did sort of do as much as we possibly could digitally, as soon as we kind of got into the physical room together, we were so much more sort of in tune with each other and like how, you know, one person can react off one another, which was really, really nice that we like had a better kind of foundation so that once we got together, we were able to like, boom, be there immediately.
Yeah. So how were you only together for one time or two times or what was?
Anyone remembers? So we basically had one in-person rehearsal.
Wow.
And then didn't really meet up again until it was like basically like a final dress and then filming.
Wow.
We had to keep it as limited as possible.
That's really impressive. So I commend you guys for making it work. So Brandon and Mackenzie, I'd love to hear a little bit about the process, like Alex was saying.
I'll tee you up here, Mackenzie. Like as the actors said, the first few rehearsals were all about intention and just learning what their characters were. And then we had our one in-person rehearsal, which was very socially distant. It was a lot of, hey, you'll cross here and you'll touch them, but don't do it right now. And then to make sure that they knew their blocking, Mackenzie had a fantastic idea. And take it away, Mackenzie.
So I, like a lot of people, turned to video games in various forms and in various methods of nostalgia to cope with what's going on right now. And one of the things that we were thinking about was like well, we have this blocking, but we don't want to have everybody involved and everybody like consistently getting at risk. And so what we were thinking about was, well, we want to find something that's online and where we can move the avatars around, but we also wanted them to be able to like move themselves and to like be able to like interact with each other and to have a space that we were able to control. And also because we're also in a like, you know, a depression, we wanted it to be free.
Yep.
And that turned out, the best option turned out to be Club Penguin, because you can have an igloo and you can decorate it how you want, and you can have all your penguin friends over and they can like do the little penguin turns. And
So
they
you
can
had
do
the
their little
set.
penguin dance.
So you had the set in a Club Penguin igloo.
You bet we did.
That is amazing. That is seriously making it work. I love that.
I truly wish we could have recorded some of those, like the Club Penguin rehearsal.
So good.
And for those who don't know, it's meant for children. Like, it's a very kid-friendly game. And in the meantime, to like, if there was like a specific stage direction, I wanted them to type it in to make sure they, you know, knew it. So we knew they knew it. And for example, Trevor at one point said, like, typed in hand beer, and he instantly got a warning saying, if you say that one more time, you'll be kicked off of Club Penguin.
It was amazing.
Yeah, the challenges of having sort of a PG, or I don't know, NC-17, is that the level that we have on Fringe? Yeah, 17 plus with a child-friendly platform. That is hilarious. I love that.
I gotta tell you, both Mackenzie and Brandon, I was like astounded that rehearsal worked as well as it was. Because for a second I was like, we all need to laugh. Let's figure this out. And like when I was watching it, I was like, this is actually incredibly useful for my brain. This is like really wonderful. And then also Trevor every like couple minutes would make the penguin dance, and that just got me through COVID. So thank you for that, Trevor.
That feels fitting for the character, you know? That is great. So on sort of a larger note, we've talked specifically about this show, but Alex, I'd love to hear from you about what you think defines your work as a playwright, and even more specifically, sort of what A to Z Productions is about, because obviously you've worked with that company, your company, to produce your own work. So can you talk a little bit about the mission, I guess?
Sure. Oh boy, I just like feel like define your work as a playwright as I'm over here just like, well, I make a lot of dick jokes. But on a serious note, the entire idea of, I started it with my partner, Zach Robinson, who you're going to see on the news in T-minus like negative minutes. But our entire idea was that we wanted to do silly theater for serious people. So the idea was presenting themes that we wanted to work with, but in a way that they were accessible and they were more easy to talk about. So my hope a lot of the time through my work is that I, at the end of the day, believe that humor is incredibly healing no matter what situation you're in. And I know that a lot of the time, sometimes it seems like a lot of situations that I've been in where humor has been the most healing are the situations where people would absolutely say not to make a joke about something. But there's a really, I can't remember who said it, but there's a really beautiful quote about how if you can laugh at something, you can control it. So the mission and what I hope to do with my work is the idea of like using comedy as a tool to get to something bigger and to help people feel seen in a way they might not have. I'm really not here to do like the like super, all of the things we talk about are serious, but I'm not here to do the like pitying, like, oh, we have to talk about depression, we have to talk about like there's enough of that. And also I'm not good at writing that, and that's not how I process things like that. So the whole idea of silly theater for serious people is just here to use laughter as a tool and use humor on a higher level to like make us all come together and feel a little bit better, because it can feel really lonely and isolating, especially I think for our whole generation, but even before COVID was happening. So that's a very long answer to a question.
No, but it's a great answer. Yeah. Well, and I even mentioned this in my first email to you, Alex, where it's like, I'm about to graduate college into this. And so seeing this show, I was like, oh my, like I was like, wow, hello, I'm the target audience. Like it really, it really spoke to me. And you do deal with such a serious theme, but in the funniest way possible.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think you're absolutely doing that mission.
Good. That means a lot, Kate. Thank you. I'm so glad it resonated with you.
Yeah, it really did. So our last thing I want to ask, unless we have any more audience questions pop up, is I want each of you to tell us how we can support you as an artist moving forward, if you have a website we need to check out, if you're a part of any other projects coming up, if there's any organizations you want to plug. We can go in the order we did for introductions. If you all want to just say, like, how can we find you? How can we keep helping you?
Thank you for giving us a chance to shout everything out. One way you can support me as an artist is you can like my pages on Facebook. I have an Alex Strauss page and a to Z Productions page. Also, my solo show is at Fringe right now, and that's Stow Your Baggage. I dropped out of flight attendant school. That's a whole nother hour's worth of talkback. That's on the 11th if you want to come. Yeah, and then if you follow me on Instagram at Alex with 2 X's, I'm around. And if you listen to the Schmanners podcast, I write and research for that. And there's going to be some more podcasts that I write and research for Travis McElroy coming down the line. So that's my little list.
Awesome. All right.
As far as I'm concerned, I just sort of write things for serials every now and then. I'll hopefully get some stuff in Fringe next year. Really, I don't have any social media following. I don't have an Instagram or anything like that. But if we're allowed to plug just whatever, I've been making really dumb videos.
They're brilliant. They're so funny. Shut up, Brandon.
Where can we find your brilliant videos?
If you just go to YouTube and type in Cinema Judge, I review movies that are so stupidly iconic that I just never saw, and people get furious at me for not have seen them.
I love it already.
Things like Back to the Future, Casablanca, and coming up this Tuesday, Land Before Time, I watched for the first time
that's
ever.
a big one. Stay tuned, y'all.
Yeah.
Great. And can you say the name of it one more time?
Cinema Judge.
Thank you.
Every Tuesday.
Great.
I don't have any like artist anything outside of this, so I'm gonna take a hot second. I think that healthy communities raise healthy art, and the Carnegie does a really great job with arts education. So if you donate to them right now, they were very gracious to allow us to use their space and film in their space, and we really appreciate that. And also the Columbus Freedom Center Foundation, I think, is taking donations for bail right now. And a healthy Columbus community is a healthy Cincinnati's community too. So.
Great, thank you.
I don't really, I like to perform a lot in Cincy, but I don't have any like steady things that I'm really in. It's just hopping from thing to thing.
Yeah.
The only really steady thing, if you want to support me as an artist, is I do stream from time to time. It could be D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, or video games, or little skits that we like
cutting out a little bit.
TV. Now that I've moved into a new, we're usually open on the weekends.
All right, great, thanks.
For me, I have a website, trevorbrowning.com, I believe, trevorbrowning.theactor.com. I have a Facebook page, same name. I'm that brownie guy on like every other media platform because everybody always thinks my name's Brownie. It's funny. Other than that, I'm sort of working on drafting a one-man show right now. And I do a lot of, I send it to a lot of people, have them kind of read over it. So if you guys want to read over it, give me some edits, talk to me about it, just message me on Facebook. And other than that, just, keep donating to the arts and keep theaters open and keep art happening in any way you can. And I'll be great.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, I'm actually in the process of getting all my stuff together for a website, so I don't have that up yet, but one day there will be a website for me. Okay. I also don't really do social media, not a huge fan, great for some people, not for me. But I definitely think just like supporting the arts in any way that you can, donating to local theaters. The Actors Fund is a really good sort of national one for everyone involved in the arts, not just actors. And I know that there's another kind of a similar fund for Louisville, like a Louisville bond. And so that's another good one to go to. So yes, that's what I would say to help. Yes.
Great. Thank you all so much for all of that. I'm really looking forward to continuing to explore all the stuff that you do and everything you have to offer and everything you care about. That's really exciting. That's about the time we have. So thank you all so much for joining us. Make sure, if you love talkbacks like I do, that you tune in tomorrow at 4 o'clock after having watched Dream and for another talkback. And at 5, you can then watch The Unrepentant Necrophile and talk to me about it at 6 o'clock. Stay tuned tonight for some news. And that's all from us. Thank you all so much.